Hi, sharks. It is financial sharktress Galit Sadiq. Happy Money Monday. Um, Today's topic is something that we've all heard before, and it's not necessarily only having to do with money, but my topics uh, don't always focus on straight money talk. It does, however, have a significance with money. So, my topic for today is never give up. And this is something that, we've all heard, we all know, logically it makes sense, but especially when it comes to money things, we tend to get frustrated and overwhelmed and give up way too easily. Like, people are in the stock market, they are investing, and then the stock market tanks for a day or two. People give up, they freak out, pull out their money, and then they end up losing it for good. um, there's you try to pay off your debt and there's a financial setback, and we backslide and we allow that to happen. But half the battle is just staying the course. It is just not giving up. And that can be for anything. So if you're trying to get your bills reduced, let's say you're trying to negotiate with credit card companies about your debt. Let's say you're trying to negotiate about your interest rate. You are trying to refinance your mortgage. You are trying to invest in crypto, invest in the stock market. The key is just keep swimming, just keep going forward. It's one of those things from Finding Nemo that I take to heart. I watched Finding Nemo a lot when it first came out because I was taking care of my niece and she absolutely loves it. And I love that line, just keep swimming. No matter what happens, just keep going forward, just keep going, just keep swimming, just stay afloat, right? If you are working hard at starting your business, getting your business off the ground, sometimes it's going to be hard. In all things, there are setbacks. There are many times, many times in my life where I felt like I was going too slow. Like, I will tell you, when I was in college, right? I didn't have the normal college experience. I had a first year of college that I did, and then I left for a year and a half to travel the world. And I traveled the world and I went back and I thought, all right, just 3 more years. And then I ended up going out for emergency spinal surgery. And it actually took me 7 years to graduate from what should have been a 4-year college. And granted, during that time, I was like, if I'm going to be here for 7 years, if I'm going to, keep chugging along on this ride, then I'm going to make sure that it counts. And so I got 2 degrees. I went I have my bachelor's in economics and my bachelor's in psychology. But if I would have given up because I felt like I was moving too slow, then I would not be where I am today. And it's totally fine for you to move slow. It is totally fine for you to have setbacks. I recently spoke with a friend who, right now, they had a family emergency and they are dealing with a whole lot of debt. And it seems crushing. It does. But if you just keep moving forward, if you think outside the box, take advantage of your network, take advantage of your support systems, take advantage of programs in your area, whatever you can do to keep yourself motivated and keep yourself moving forward is what you need to be doing. This goes for like anything in life, but it's really just this sheer persistence. And one of the biggest words that I love to use is something that I heard in a couple of different contexts. One is when I was scuba diving, when I actually met one of my really great and closest friends, Nicole Zellick. We met at Women's Dive Day, and we dove in Dutch Springs, Pennsylvania, which is now not a thing because they closed down, but it is cold water diving. And that was my first experience cold water diving. And she was like, it teaches grit. And that stuck with me. Like, just this, like, never give up, never back down type of grit that like comes from deep within. The other place that I've heard it is actually from my old gym. I used to do CrossFit in this place called Crom. If you remember me, hi to my Crommies. The gym moved, so it's no longer in Rockaway Beach, New York, where I used to go to it. But I love them, and they also talk about having this grit. The owner talks about falling down 7 times and getting up 8. That's what I want you to do. That's what I need you to tap into. Like, you can keep falling. That's totally fine. You can celebrate your failures. That is something that, I had a guest speaker on Galit Speaks, and we actually spoke about like more of our failures should be celebrated. We celebrate our wins, right? But we don't celebrate our failures, and our failures teach us something. So celebrate the failure and then keep going. Get back up that 8th time. Get back up and get back in. Like, let's make sure that you achieve what you want to achieve. If you give up, you'll never achieve that. So when you're on the phone, and trust me, there are so many times, especially in my profession, that I just do want to give up. Like, I'll give you an example. I have this issue with the Ohio Department of Taxation and Finance, in which like I'm dealing with it for one of my clients. The account has been active. It is very active, but it's not letting our payroll company run the payroll through it. And so we keep getting error messages. And I will tell you that I have spent probably 8 hours on the phone with them until now. I have been on hold with them for 1 hour and 45 minutes just to be hung up on and no one to answer. But I can't give up. If I give up, then somebody's payroll doesn't get run. And I'm in charge of making sure that people get paid. I take that very seriously. So there are so many things in which like I'm dying to just be like, that's it. I spent 8+ hours on the phone. I'm not going to keep doing it, but I can't. I won't, because that's just not in me. There isn't any quit in me, right? When I was sick last year, and that's why I say like this topic, yeah, it's money adjacent, but it's not necessarily all money. Last year when I was sick, when I didn't know what was going on with me, when I was just diagnosed with POTS, which is a heart condition, I felt so drained and like I would never figure my way out. And I was just being sent from doctor to doctor, and I had to be in charge of my own medical care, which I firmly believe that everyone should. It's upsetting that we have to do this, but you need to be your own advocate. Like, you need to be able to get all of your records and bring them with you to each doctor and make sure that they're taking you seriously, because the first couple of doctors that I went to told me that I didn't know what I was talking about, that there was nothing wrong with me, that there was nothing structurally wrong, that I was just having anxiety. And me coming from the background and knowing my body and knowing that I wasn't anxious, I didn't feel anxious, and there was something wrong. I just didn't give up. I did not let them tell me and convince me that I was wrong. And it turns out I wasn't wrong. And like once that doctor that told me I was having anxiety, he saw me in the middle of an episode, in the middle of an attack where my heart rate, we're having a normal conversation, and then all of a sudden I'm going to faint. My heart rate is up at 200. And then like 3 minutes later, it drops down to 40. And he was just like, okay, this is not anxiety. This is a serious medical condition and we need to get this under control. But that took me persisting and never giving up and pushing back and making sure, that I found somebody that believed me and that was there to treat me. And traditional medicine wasn't what worked for me. What worked for me actually was when I went to a naturopath. And that's why I say never give up, because if I was just going through insurance, if I was just going through the regular routes, I would not have figured this out. And I'd still be in the position that I was last year of like being pretty much homebound and hardly leaving bed for, fear of passing out in just random places and scared that I'd be having a heart attack. And I'm not like that because I kept going and I kept looking for answers. And when traditional medicine wasn't giving them to me, I went to another direction. I created a creative solution, right? I accessed my resources. I accessed different things around me to try to figure out what was going on. And with like some testing that I did there and all sorts of other stuff and different supplements, I was able to get it under control. But that whole year, last year, 2021, was just so difficult for me. And there were so many times where I was like, I'm just not going to figure this out. I want to give up. I want to like stay in bed and not figure this out. And I don't want to go to any more doctors, and I don't want blood, and I don't want to be poked and prodded and tested and MRIs and this and that. But if I had given up, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be happy and working out again and functioning and be a contributing member to society. I was living in my bare minimum, which maybe is sometimes I hold myself to a really high standard, and maybe that wasn't like your bare minimum or someone else's bare minimum, or but for me that was crushing. It was just like, how can I keep going like this? How can I how can I do the same things and not get different results? And that is why I had to step out of doing the same thing and not going to the same doctors. I'm creating, I'm finding a creative solution. I'm figuring this out, whether my cardiologist believes in it or not. And it's crazy because after I finally got it under control with the naturopath and everything, my cardiologist literally asked for my naturopath's information because he had never seen a patient do that and get to the next level so quickly. And that is what happens when you don't give up, when you don't let people tell you differently. It is why I have my business. It is why I'm able to live the life that I live. It is why I am able to have the personality that I have. It's because that was something that my mother taught me. There is no giving up. There is not an ounce of give up inside of me. And shit happens and it's horrible, and you can grieve about it, and you can feel shitty about it, and you can feel all of your emotions. But in the end, you got to pick yourself back up and figure out what it is that you need to do to get yourself to the next level, to get yourself past it. So with money stuff, sometimes it's just as simple as letting it stay, right? The stock market goes down, let it ride. Okay, yeah, you lost some money now. Big deal. In the future, you're not using that money right now. In the future, it will go up. Let it ride. You're paying down your debt. You have a huge expense one month and you get set back, and you're not on, you're no longer in line for your debt payoff goal. That's fine. Pay a smaller amount down, and then you'll pick it up when you've got money again. But don't give up. A lot of times we just get discouraged and then we just throw it all away, right? We get overwhelmed and we're just like, I'm not going to deal with it right now. We can't do that. Do the bare minimum. Allow yourself some space. Allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to get back to who you are, however it is that you need to do it. But work your way back little by little. Nothing is, sometimes I give this analogy of like winning a race, but I don't want you to think about it necessarily as a race. Every little bit helps. You don't always have to sprint. Winning that race is not just running, right? Maybe there's some walking, maybe there's some crawling. Winning that race is just getting to the end. You do not have to concern yourself with what other people are doing, how they are doing it, how fast they do it, where they are as in regards to where you are. Forget that. And I learned that it was a tough pill to swallow for me, especially like, let's say in my college, because I had started my first year, I was in honors at Queens College. And within 4 years, all of my friends from that program had graduated. And I felt so behind. And then I had to remind myself, it does not matter. I'm moving forward. As long as I'm moving forward, as long as I'm taking the next step, then it's okay. It's okay to move slower. It's okay to be at your own pace. It is okay to do it your way. Just make sure you do it a little bit at a time. It is okay to some days have your 100% be another day's 20%, right? Give 100% every single day, but sometimes my 100% today is not necessarily what my 100% looks like tomorrow. There are different factors that maybe I didn't sleep well, maybe I didn't have a good day, maybe I'm stressed about other things. Like, as long as I know that I'm giving 100% of what I have that day, every day, then I am fine with who I am. I am fine with where I am, and I am fine with where I am going. So that's your message for today. Happy Money Monday, everyone. Give 100% every day. Doesn't matter if it doesn't look like the day before, as long as you're giving what you have today. Do not give up. If you're negotiating, if you're paying down debt, if you're investing, if you're just trying to get through life right now, if you're dealing with inflation and bills and medical bills, and just don't give up. Keep moving forward, even if it's a little bit at a time. If you want to add anything, if you have any questions for me, if you have any stories that you want to tell me about your level of grit and how you keep going and keep pushing and don't give up, I'd love to hear them. Please like and share. My Instagram, if you need to reach me, is financial_sharkdress. On Facebook, it's Financial Sharkdress Galit Sadiq. On YouTube, it's Financial Sharkdress Galit Sadiq. And then you can email me at any time, galit@financialsharkdress.com. I love you all. Have an amazing Money Monday, and don't give up. Bye, Sharks.